Shalom Israel first. I want to give all praise and glory honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash, double honor to the Apostle Elder Millstone, peace, citation, 1/3 of Israel. This lesson, I want to title it, I forgot what I'm going to title it, but, really, this topic is going to be how the Lord, I'm going to title it The Build Up, and how the Lord, He's building us up for that day, building us up for the time of Jacob's struggle, building us up for the times when we got to depart from all this shit, all right? Because you see these people in the world, their hope is this place. So therefore, they're going to cleave harder and harder to the world to try to make it work, But the Lord, He's showing us that, if we cleave to Him, He's going to make a way, That's the thing. These people in the world, they don't have the Lord in the plans. The Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is in the back of their minds. It's nowhere in their mind, who's thinking about the Lord, But I'm going to read 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. And the point is the 17th verse. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion had light with darkness? All right, and the Lord, He builds you up from that. Like I myself can attest, and I'm sure you brothers can attest, that when you first come into the truth, you have, it's not just a snap of the fingers and you just cut everybody off. Like now, some bros, I'm pretty sure that happened, but I myself can attest that. You still have you still have connections with people, but they slowly die down, and soon as you don't talk to them no more, and that's what, going back to the title of the lesson, the build up. The Lord, He's building us up to be separate from this place, Now, the flesh, the flesh is a bitch. The flesh, it wants to be comfortable. The flesh is, what you can see is what the flesh wants. The lust of the eyes, I believe there's a scripture on that. I forgot how it's worded. All that is in there in lust of the flesh. I'm trying to remember where that's at. But if you both know where that's at, you can put it on the comment section. But I'm going to keep reading. It says, and what concord had Yahushua with Belial? Or what part had he that believe with an infidel? Can two walk together except they be agreed? So, if you serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, you're not going to walk with these people in the world like they cool. You're not going to be cool with these people, to a certain degree, because obviously Scripture says use wisdom to those that are without. We use this world, not abuse it. We ultimately we use wisdom, be wise as doves and harmless as serpents. And Salakia, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. There you go. But I'm going to keep reading. It says, and what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power. As the Most High has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their people, and they shall be my people. All right? And, if we're the Lord's temple, right? What fruits does this world produce? It produces darkness, filthiness. And what the Lord is doing is He's separating us from all this shit. The ways of the world, all the pollution, that shit. And how is the Lord separating us from these things, through that furnace of affliction, that furnace of adversity. That's how the Lord is purging that old nigga off of us, He's purging the filth off of us, And, trust me, you go through that fire, this shit in the world, none of this shit seems appealing, Because, the Lord, He's building you up to a point where, none of this shit should seem pleasing to you, to dwell in this world, to prolong the stay in this world, I guess you could say, because we want the kingdom, fuck this place. So that that's the mindset we have, all right? As it says in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the Son of the Most High, roughly paraphrased. So that's our mentality. But it says, wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. All right? And this world is unclean, That's why Scripture says in 2 John or 1 John 2 and 15, I believe, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in it. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, roughly paraphrasing. Scripture also says, to be friends of the world is enmity with the Most High, against the Most High. Because what But I'm parking right now. But as I was saying, I guess you say fruit. Like I said, what fruits does this world produce? It's all wicked. Look at the state of this world. Look at the state of these people. So, that's what the Lord is doing. He's building us up to be separate from this place. And it's a process. You coming fresh out the world in this truth. Certain habits don't go. They're not dropped immediately. So that's why the Lord, he puts you through certain trials and tribulations to change your mind. All right, there you go. Be conformed. Romans 12 and 2 says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. All right, let me read this in NLT. Romans 12 and 2, it says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let the Most High transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know the Most High's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Damn, that's fire. It says, but let the Most High transform you. And how is the Lord going to transform you? He going to put you through trials and tribulations. You're going to have to go through heartbreaks. You're going to have to lose certain things. And ultimately, that's not for your destruction. That's for your betterment, But bros have went through heartbreaks. Bros have lost certain things, But guess what? Without those certain trials and tribulations, that wouldn't make them to who they are today, And, even see, that the Lord, he's a master teacher. Scripture says, who teaches like the Most High, So, the Lord, he be killing multiple birds with one stone. And you don't even know it until, later on down the line. And the whole time, it's for your betterment, There's a, just roughly paraphrasing what the bro said at camp. He said something like, when you go through your first heartbreak, something like that, it changes the way you think about these women and so on and so forth. But it hurts, but it's in a good way, because then you don't get played like how these niggas in the world, get played. You don't let certain shit slide, this, that, and third, but it's all through experiences, So the Lord, he's giving us the experience of how, he's showing us experiences in this world to let us know that this ain't it, Therefore, it's separating us from this shit, because we hate this shit, all right. And Lord willing, we be part of the elect. This is the mindset of the elect. Revelation 12 and 11, straight to the point. Revelation 12 and 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. It's talking about the elect, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. So the elect members are not going to love their life unto death, and for you not to love your life, you got to hate it here. That's the mindset you should have is hating this place, wanting this shit to fall. Just Lot vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, and all the wickedness that goes on here, so on and so forth, bro. Like we ache for this shit to fall, all right. But if you living good, prosperously, then you gonna want this shit to continue. But the Lord, He's not doing that for us. He's putting us through these trials and tribulations so we can focus on Him, focus on the prize, and not establish ourselves here. So hopefully this is well said. I'm at the desk, I'm at the crib, but just some impromptu on the go. Like I said, Lord willing, this was edifying and well said. Want to give all praise, glory, honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Kakodash. Till next time, shalom.